Welcome everybody. We are already many people who are connected, but we will wait maybe a few more seconds for some other people who are maybe a little bit late. Okay, so let's start. Welcome for everybody again. Thank you for connecting to our webinar organized with and for Saint-Gobain Group. My name is Diana Novak and I am Saint-Gobain's account manager at Flowlity. I have pleasure today to host Josep Tascon, supply chain director, and Jean-Marc Albert, head of business intelligence and logistics at Saint-Gobain Sekurit Services, as well as Jean-Baptiste Cloire, the CEO of Flowlity. Today we will present you the story of our collaboration. We'll go more into details of the project we managed to build together, and we'll finish with a short demo of Flowlity. There will be some time at the end of for your questions. Don't hesitate to put them in the chat. If we don't have time to treat all of them today on live, then we will get back to you in the coming days. So let's start. Can you please introduce you in a few words?
Yes, I'm Jean-Marc Albert, in charge of logistics in Saint-Gobain Sekurit Distribution. I'm in charge of the project of Flowlity, installing it in different warehouses in the main warehouse of Bastogne. I'm also in charge of logistics, so managing the warehouse of Bastogne and the other hub we can have within Europe.
Josep Tascon, I'm the supply chain director for AGR business, which is the one which is specialized to deliver the aftermarket windscreen, sidelights, and backlights, basically, through the distribution network, mainly in Europe, till the fitting stations, which are part of Saint-Gobain as well, like France Parabris or Glass Drive. As well, I have a second cap, which is the general manager for Bastogne, which is the main distribution center in Europe. It's the one which is consolidating everything before distribute to the regional distribution centers.
And hello, I'm Jean-Baptiste. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Flowlity, which I co-founded 4 years and a half ago with Karim. I'm taking care of all the business side at Flowlity. I'm a supply chain guy, worked for more than 10 years in the supply chain planning space, especially on the software space, passionate with supply chain innovations, and thrilled to be here today to tell you all about what we have been doing in the past few years, 6 years, that we've been working together. And that's it on me.
Okay, thank you very much. So I let you start, Josep, with the very beginning. So how did it all start?
Okay, well, then I need to go to my past life inside Saint-Gobain because I'm quite new in this business, which is 2 years and a half right now, Jean-Marc, if I'm not wrong, in this new position. But previously to that, I spent 23 years basically in Saint-Gobain Sekurit OEM, which is the same brand but dedicated for the OEM customers. Few years ago, I don't remember exactly when. It's in 2018. Then
it was November 2018. Yes,
I received via LinkedIn a contact of 2 guys that I doesn't know at this moment. Which one was Jean-Baptiste on one side and Karim in the other one, which is the second guy that you can see in the photo. And they give me that they have they give me a call and we want to sell to you some good idea and so on. And basically there was a kind of a startup business at this period.
Well, yeah. And a young startup.
Young startup.
1 month. So we had 1 month of creation.
And they provide some kind of vision that shared with a lot of enthusiasm and to be fair with you, at this moment, obviously I was having not idea to put money in just one fantastic idea, but nothing else. But at least the option to listen them and try to see if this idea can grow was interesting for me. So somehow we achieved the agreement that they was developing for us some kind of a proof of concept. That at the same time was for you a kind of recognition because somehow you are having a new customer, which in this case was Sekurit in the portfolio Saint-Gobain Sekurit. And that's the beginning of the history. I think at this moment we started to work together in this tool. Somehow arrives the COVID, if I'm not wrong, during the pilot or in Sekurit OEM. And at this moment, the same moment, I am moved as well to this new business, or just after the COVID. So when I arrived, I used the experience already lived with them in the Sekurit OEM to share what we have already done with Jean-Marc and the team here in Bastogne. And I asked them to see if the same idea was applicable for what we have already done here in the business. And apparently, the idea was, I suppose, good enough.
Yes, it was.
and that's all. And then, from this moment, I move out and I step out. I let the teams work, and that's all. So Jean-Marc, you can explain a little bit what has been the next steps or whatever.
Yeah, in the AGR business, we were searching for a long time for being able to do forecasting, because we had a market with a kind of seasonal trend. We were facing a long lead time from different suppliers. We were also some plant with capacity limited, and so for us was a good. We need to know what we need to produce to be able to serve our market in a better way. So we had nothing at that time, and we discussed and we started the project of forecasting with external consultant. And during some months, even years, we decided to improve the project, and we set up something that we put in place. And this project was mainly Excel-based, manual and Excel-based. After 2 years, we decided that it was consuming us a lot of time to make everything, all the download, prepare the Excel sheets and so on. We decided that we need to go to a tool. So with the competence center, we put ourselves in search of different tools. Competence center even hire a consultant company that makes some search and some analysis. And at the end, Josep arrived and told us about the Flowlity. And okay, we take some more info and we decide, okay, give them a chance. And we decide to go for a POC with one affiliate, 3,000 SKU for the POC for 8 months. And in September last year, we validated that the POC was okay. And we decided to roll out the application towards the, let's say, 16 countries and 29 point of sales or distribution centers. So today, after several months of implementations and tests and so on, we are live with all those countries for forecasting and stock replenishment.
And can you tell us more about the results?
So today the result was quite a good year in 2023. So the graph you see is kind of availability ratio at affiliate site, and we have different color to express it. But when it's green, we are the target. When it's yellow, we are nearly reaching the target, and when it's red, so we are far away from the target. So you can already compare that 2022 seems like less green area than you have in 2023 for the same period. And for us, what matters is really the high season, so during the summer period. So we already had good result this year. And also what is really interesting is with less stock. This is the next slides, normally speaking.
Just come back 1 second again, please. Can you? Just to tell you one thing, despite that you are still seeing a lot of yellow, and that's something that we will continue to do, because the target is always to improve. So we don't want to have green everywhere. What we want to see is an evolution of greens and the target at the same time. So.
Yeah. So, and we did reach those results today with, globally speaking, less stock than last year. So the blue line is last year's stock, and the purple one is this year's stock. So you see for the same period, so going from week 20 to week 35, we had less stock, globally speaking, in Bastogne, which is the upper graph, and the lower graph is the stock at the affiliates. So we keep high stock and affiliates for the high season, which is required, but the buffer stock of Bastogne as well playing its role. So globally speaking, we implement a tool, we get good result of availability, we have less stock, we cannot say that everything is linked to this tool, but at least the tool did not degrade our results. Never. Because it was also a fear that you go live with a tool in the middle of the season and you can have a bad result. Nothing happened in that case. So we are quite happy.
Okay, nice to hear that. So if we move on more into details of each project that we are doing together, because there are several ones. So I let you present what we managed to build together.
So the core solution that we put a POC and that we put in place was to be sure that we are able to collect a forecast from our affiliates. Affiliates are distribution centers which are in link with the customers. So they are doing the sales. So the goal was to get the forecast from those affiliates, and that those forecasts are transferred to the main DC located in Bastogne, and we are able to replenish the affiliates corresponding to their forecast into the correct level of stock. That was the main scope. And as soon as we have those info in Bastogne, we should be able to transform this sales forecast into purchasing forecast to be able to communicate it to our different suppliers. So that's the scope of the initial project. And this is where we are today below. So the first two, the first line is, this is what we have put in place. At the same time, for sure, as we were in front of a dynamic team, we had other projects, and those are the projects where, okay, can we improve and have a higher view of what we are doing? Can we improve and integrate more Flowlity in our supply chain? We were used to have with our main supplier, main plant, to use VMI, vendor managed inventory. Everything managed on Excel with file exchange and so on. And so we challenge Flowlity, is it possible to have something within your application? And today they said, yes, possible, let's try it. And we are in a POC today in development concept with Flowlity to be able to do it.
Indeed, just to complement a little bit what is the idea behind is we want to somehow find a kind of tool which is allowing to us build brick by brick, I don't know if it's English, or stone by stone, a kind of wall going for what is called in supply chain integrated business planning. So somehow we want to go from something which is able to manage operational or executive actions in the supply chain at the low level, at operations, or till the tactical or even strategical levels, and from the demand to the final deliveries, including suppliers and customers. And basically, one of the added values that we expect of the tool as well is the usage of the machine learning, artificial intelligence, or call it like you want. But basically, some kind of assist to make the life easier for my team and more efficient for the business. So that's a little bit the idea.
And maybe just to complement, so but the idea is to go outside of the boundaries of only Sekurit Service and try to build this first link of this connected supply chain ID in between the different BUs or departments of Saint-Gobain. And by breaking the walls in between those different subsidiaries, we will gain a lot of efficiency. So we started with the operational part of the DRP and the distribution part of Sekurit Service from Bastogne to the affiliates. We are adding the inventory strategy, which is more SNOP, it's a long-term simulation and strategy that we are also building and putting in place together. We are developing this new module together that is going to make, that we call VMI, is making the link in between the Sekurit plant and Sekurit Service. And at the same time, we are launching, and we have launched actually a few months ago, a project with one of the plants of Sekurit in Estonia to do the raw material replenishment. And you see that getting quite exciting and quite powerful, because in one single tool, we have all the flows going from the components at the plants to the finished good distributed up to the final customer, and everything being intertwined, connected, and adjusted dynamically inside one single supply chain model that we can call a digital supply chain twin in that case.
Yes,
Exactly.
Okay, very clear. So if we go more into details of each of the 3 projects that we are currently building together, I'll let you start, Jean-Baptiste, with the tactical one.
Yes. So about 1 year and a half ago, we came to the realization. So we built this first product that was quite operational. Really, it was about knowing how much to we will sell, how much we'll consume, how much to distribute. It was quite operational and was providing a lot of value. But 1 year and a half ago, we came to the realization that we really need to also put the decision makers inside the loop of the planning, so that they can take an active role in deciding their strategy. And what was really striking for us in terms of say inventory strategy is that many companies, and not only Saint-Gobain, are very dependent on consulting firm and SAP to pilot their inventory strategy. They have no tools to precisely parameterize their SAP instantiation to get to the objectives that they have inside the company. And objectives meaning a target in inventory value, a target of customer service, and a target of turnover. And so we wanted to solve that, and we built a new product we call Flowlity Tactical. And the goal is really to do simulations and take strategic decisions on where to place inventories, what risks to take on different product families and portfolios, in order to make sure that I have a supply chain that is efficient, but also adjusted to my strategic goals. And that's what we did. So we started building that product in September or October. And during that process, we discovered that there was a need to put a lot of math and computer power into that, because it's not easy to really predict and to do all those simulations to know where we are going to land, what are the impacts of all the parameter change, and now we are deploying it on several customers, and soon to be live and to be implemented at.
We have been part of some testing.
Yes.
So our people in Bastogne had the opportunity to be, let's say, special test or let's say debugger of the situation of the solutions. So we did it with the help of Flowlity, and we expect also to restart it in coming months or weeks.
Yes.
With the new version.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to VMI if there is nothing to add on tactical.
Can go to VMI.
No, okay, let's go to VMI. So VMI is something that has been implemented in our business since today already several years. And as already told you, it's mainly based on Excel exchange. And the concept of VMI is you open your order book and your stock to your supplier, and your supplier is creating his production capacities, the batch management and so on, based on your needs and a total view of your needs. So at the end, as we had a lot of exchange, handling by the people, a lot of data upload from different systems to be sure that it's effective, we were thinking about, again, digital solutions. And we challenge Flowlity, are you able to cope with this solution by reducing the risk of error by all those exchanges, but also to bring added value by having the BOM, by having some controls and so on. At the end, it will make both parts of the use of VMI an advantage value.
Let me explain a little bit why has been chosen. This is what my point of view after seeing why has been chosen vendor management inventory homemade in our business unit, because basically one thing that you need to understand is despite that we are from the same business unit, our business unit is at the same time AGR is at the same time a different. It's not a fully integrated business unit. I mean, production plants has its own P&L and distribution Bastogne is own, and distribution affiliates, what we call affiliates or distribution centers, regional distribution centers as well. So countries as well. So every one of us has a different needs, and at the end is not exactly fully integrated, because we are coming from historical for historical reasons we are not fully integrated. And this is a solution where you are building a kind of trust relationship between different steps of the chain, because when our central warehouse tries to plan the production lines, is arranging perhaps to us but not the constraints of production, which is not good for the plan. If the plan produce without taking into account our constraints, probably we will build too much stock in the chain. So the vendor management inventory is making an open book in both sides. And that's true as well for downstream site as well, or even for even other suppliers. So definitively, Flowlity was matching with this part as well of our need, because Flowlity is already a solution where you can attack from everywhere to this tool. You can open let's say the foil of your book that you want to show, not perhaps not the prices but the stock, not the stock in some determined places but not the stock in others, or some you can play the book differently if you want, but at least each part of the actor in this supply chain can act in the same chain in a very dynamic way. And that's the big advantage of vendor management inventory, and what we have seen. That's why we have go more deep in Flowlity in this case, is because the tool is perfectly fitting with the needs of what we have already today, with the exception that we have today is Excel done. Homemade, and we can just develop the same model but in the same tool that we have already using for the forecasting and so on.
And for us, it's a nice opportunity because we already had a supplier portal that was thought to be really sharing data and sharing forecast externally. And this project is bringing it to the next level, because we really, in the end, want to build this co-planning, let's say, module, where we will take into account production capacities and all the constraints that the plants may face to influence the replenishment that are done at the Sekurit Service side. So it's actually a very exciting project, and really looking forward to the next steps on this one.
Next one then.
Yes, perfect. So let's then go to the last project that we are currently building together, which is about supplier collaboration.
Yeah. Just to put a bit of context, we are working with one main plant which is located in Estonia, and they're using a system which is called Axapta. And by default, the system is not doing any forecast, not even doing some bomb explosion and so on. So they were facing some issue to having the right stock at the right time in their offices. And discussing with Flowlity, they told us that they have a project currently developing a new version or a new application of Flowlity, which is called raw material. And we're thinking that this could be a right way or right place to try to set up this application. So we succeed to convince Estonia to go with Flowlity instead with another supplier. And today they are currently discussing, and I think they will go live in the coming weeks.
Yeah, in September, very soon.
Very soon, yeah. With
it went very fast because we started the project in July, and they will go live in September.
Yes,
well, it's never fast enough, huh?
Yeah, but it's fast. It's fast to the standards in our industry, let's say.
So they will start quickly with this raw material project, which is supposed to give a supplier the needs that Estonia will need.
Okay. And on this one, so it's really about raw material replenishment, so components at the plant, and really we are closing the loop. Well, at least quite high. Maybe one day we'll have also glass, which is even further,
step, perhaps.
But that's already quite a long chain.
Okay, so now this is the time for the Flowlity demo. I will welcome with us Julia Moter, who is the key user at Sekurit Services of our platform. So she will present you what she is doing in her daily work. I don't know whether Dino is already ready.
No.
We need to connect.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, we have some technical issues. It will take 1 second.
I can't connect on the link.
Tu peux pas te connecter sur ça?
Non, mais c'est. Vas-y, c'est peut-être là.
C'est là.
The problems of the life, right?
It's coming.
Okay, so the demo is coming.
But someone need to share it.
All right. It's already shared or not yet?
No.
Okay.
Quite slowly.
All right.
Okay.
We are all on the Wi-Fi.
Maybe you want to treat some questions.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yes, we can treat the.
Yeah, so I have one question already. Jean-Marc mentioned seasonality. How does Flowlity take into account external factors that can impact future demand?
Today, the external factors, they are put manually by the users. So when we have a demand review, we can always change the forecast done by Flowlity by manual input or correction. It could be in pieces or even in percent. That's the way we manage it. But Flowlity told us that in the future, they would be able to integrate some external table in order to enrich the model. That's the way it works today. But Flowlity with past data is already able to find the seasonality and to propose the correct stock or correct replenishment based on that seasonality. It's fine from the history.
Indeed, we have plenty of historical data that is showing this seasonality, and the system is modeled basically using some algorithms which are helping to project this kind of seasonality and repeat the same scenario in function of what the trends in different countries system is detecting. But it's not only that. You can configure other things. More things you want to provide to the system, more is the system will predict in a more accurate way. Obviously, as well, there are few things that you cannot predict. We are heavily impacted by the hailstorms. For instance, right now in this year was Italy. That is something that you cannot somehow predict, at least with the model that we have. But we are taking into consideration to discuss with the Jean-Baptiste team how to integrate these meteorological, let's say, alerts received by Google or by the I don't know where exactly, and to integrate that on the system to see if he's able the system to help somehow to increase or in a dynamic way this potential impact on the forecast. That's so the answer is already we have plenty of historical data, and on the top of that we can incorporate in the system other data coming from very different sources. Can be cars on the road, kilometers driven, the forecast of the hailstorms. It can be everything that we want, but it's something that is requesting some time every time to integrate on the system, and obviously a period of observation to see if these models that we are integrating are answering in the proper way in the system.
And we are ready now for the demo.
Yes, so welcome again, Julia, who is among us and who will present you what she's doing on the daily basis in Flowlity platform.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Sorry about the delay. It was a bit difficult to connect, but I will try my best to introduce Flowlity and how we are, let's say, using it on a daily basis within our team. So what you can see on the screen is actually like the main dashboard where you can find like the main screen when you connect to Flowlity. You can see on the top right corner that you have your name with your account. In this page, you can also select on which site you want to work. So within our company, we have different sites on which we work, and we can just select one to pass from one affiliate to the other. Another really useful function is actually to see when was the forecast and supply plan last updated, because it does not have the same reviews or timely reviews. So this is also important for our team to know when was the last update done. And on this main dashboard, actually, you have different KPIs that we use and that we review within our team, such as the inventory evolution, but also below the forecast accuracy, for example. Within our daily activities, we'll check like mainly the demand page, which is now loading. And on this page, you can actually see that you have the details per reference. And thanks to all of those functionalities here, you can actually add some filters, such as categories that you create, tags that you can create and update to fit your activity. For example, if we select the A category, you can see that it is filtering on 541 references. You can select your suppliers, you can select your alerts. So in our case, we are, for example, interested a lot in the references that are out of stock, references for which we might have shortage in the future. So those attributes also allow us to filter on what we want to see.
And despite the results and the stock will flow, we can see the system that the system is even recommending a little bit more to reduce the stock, because I see so few others telling too much stock, right?
Indeed.
So.
Indeed. The good thing about this page is that here you can also have the view by product, but also at the aggregated level per tag, for example. So you can filter and have like the aggregated view of the quantities per category. So when you click actually on one reference, and I think that will actually be really useful for you to see, you can actually have the graph of what's happening. So you can, within the demand page for the reference, select the period that you want, either in months or in weeks, because you have the possibility to see it, in quantities, and you have the possibility to see the evolution based on the period you defined of the demand, of the Flowlity forecast, and of the final forecast, which is actually taking into account the modifications users. You can also see the values here in the graph just below, also based on the period that you have, and it's actually giving you a full view here. Unfortunately, I'm on a really small screen, but if you're on a big screen, you will have for each article the full view of the graph and of the numbers for you to understand and visualize quickly the situation within one reference. The idea of the graph as well is to show you what happened in the past, but also to show you what is predicted within the future. So you can see that, for example, for November 2023, we're actually expecting, Flowlity is quite expecting a final forecast for this reference of 30 pieces sold with a max and min interval. I will not go into details of every review, but I think it's important to mention this one here, where you have, if you have alerts, it will happen, so you can have a quick view of Flowlity's alerts, such as the shortage I was mentioning before, for example. You can also quickly go to the planning graph, which was one of the other pages that you had on the main page, and here you can see the replenishment for per weeks here, which you can also modify per days, but also per months, based on, once again, the period that you will define in terms of pieces. So here you can see, for example, that for this piece, there is a planned order of 23 pieces for week 40. And here you also have just below the table, sorry, based on the week. So you can see that Flowlity is expected to sell is expected to replenish 23 pieces. And the forecast is estimated 18 pieces sold in week 40. So here it allows you to see actually also the firm orders you might have based on your supplier and the stock at the end as well. So you have all the data at hand to determine, let's say, your planning for the next few weeks or for the next few months if you want like a more long view, let's say. If I go back to the list, what we also use on a daily basis is the orders page. This is what we use mostly within our team to push the requisition that you just saw before. So for example, the order of the 23 pieces for week 40 will be pushed probably in week 39. It will appear here in one of those orders. And it's quite easy to manage as you just have to filter on the supplier you want within the date range, which is taking the order placement deadline. So usually we only take like the next few weeks, but it's also based on how you're managing your suppliers. And we continue the flow by validating one order and then pushing it into our main system. You will see that once you validate the orders, you will have them into the release page where you have your final confirmation order within your own system with the quantity of product that was were ordered for the number of references. And the idea is to give you a full view of all of your orders. So thanks to Flowlity, we have a full, let's say, forecast for the next few months, which allows us to have accurate requisitions within the system and to deliver according to the demand, accurate demand of the affiliates.
Just to add, in our case, Flowlity is linked to SAP. So it means that every night there is exchange of file and data between SAP and Flowlity. Therefore, what SAP is doing is what Flowlity is doing is always proposing a requisition that we push to SAP, and we keep SAP as the main system to convert all those proposals into POs. So the main system in terms of communication with suppliers for accounting and so on remain SAP, and Flowlity arrive like an extra layer doing what SAP is not doing.
Exactly. And it's also important to mention that we also included and we have like our affiliates, direct customers involvement within the Flowlity tool, within the forecast numbers, so that they can also see what we have in the tool, modify them if they wish, and to what they can do basically is to give us their input to make sure that the data we have in Flowlity can be accurate and can be challenged if necessary as well. So it's also a cooperative process between three parties within our clients, our team, and Flowlity.
Anything to add on the demo?
No.
Okay, so we have like 6 minutes left, so we can go through the questions. I have 2 more questions that came in the meantime. So the first one is for VMI. Can you elaborate a bit more on how Flowlity parameters will allow you to make the right trade-off between production efficiency versus your inventories in central warehouse?
So this question is still to be developed by Flowlity. We just create the book of specification together with Flowlity and with the plants. The way we were working manually is that the warehouse, we at the central warehouse were putting the lower, let's say, the lower threshold of the stock and the highest threshold of the stock for every item. So it was pretty easy for us to say, the stock could not be over that quantity or could not be lower that quantity. That's the only, let's say, limitation we're giving to the plants. Up to them to do what they want to arrive to that maximum or minimum stock in Bastogne. For the future in Flowlity, this has not been discussed yet. Where we will manage it? Do we fix boundaries manually, or will be done via a factor of coverage or something like that? This is not yet defined.
Okay, so the last question. If you have more questions, so really feel free to add them in the chat. We still have 5 minutes, so if anybody wants to know something more about any aspect of today's presentation, so don't hesitate. And let me read you the last question that I had. So you track month M accuracy against forecast done in which month? M-1, M-2, M-3.
I let you answer because this is something that you have in your application,
Yes.
the MAPE evaluation. So
yeah, so no, by default we provide to all our customers M-1, M-3, and M-6. However, we fine-tune our algorithm because you know that when we are looking for certain forecast accuracy, we are looking toward a certain way for forecast needs to be accurate. And for us, because we are a replenishment solution and we are targeting inventory say improvements, we look to be the most precise first at the SKU level, not at the aggregated level. So we configure algorithms to be precise there. And we look also to be precise at the time where we will take the next replenishment decision. So it means just after the frozen zone. And so for some products, it might be in 1 month. Some products might be in 6 months. And that depends really on the lead times. And that's where we will look at being the most precise. At least that's where we'll track and improve the algorithms to be the most precise on, because that's what will influence in the end the most or replenishment decisions. And after for analytics, we can do anything. So we have reports with -1 and -3 and -6 that we can provide basically anything. We have all the data. We actually store the forecast we are doing every week and for all the time. And so we can create any kind of analytics based on that data.
Okay, so we don't have any more questions. Yes, so it is time to close today's presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you, for the presenters, for the attendees. And if you have any questions about Flowlity, about our common project, so really feel free to reach out to us. We will be very happy to help you with anything and to discuss with you about your all problematics. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.